Justice for Ariel Galarza.
Justice for Ariel Galarza.
Justice for Ariel Galarza.
Justice for Ariel Galarza. One more time, justice for Ariel Galarza.
Justice for Ariel Galarza.
Thank you. Thank you, Mildred. Thank you. It's just crazy to think that they will take a family member from you and all the things that these families have to go through to get justice, all of the roadblocks that they set up through this system, this injustice system, to stop the truth from coming out. But these families, they're hyped up and they ain't taking it no more. So I'm gonna introduce the next speaker, who doesn't need no introduction from me. She's one of the toughest working family members out here I've seen in my life. So give it up for Angie. Cheers.
Thank you, Johnny. Hello, everyone. My name is Angelique Negroni Kears. I am the wife of Andrew Kears, who was killed on May 11, 2017. My husband begged for his life over 70 times within 17 minutes and died in the back of a police car. He said, I can't breathe. He said, I'm feeling numb. And he said, I feel like throwing up. All the while Officer Mark Weeks thought he was lying. He was like a serial killer with no empathy. And you have this man on the job? Alright. I want you guys to understand that they just don't kill our loved ones. You know, we go through PTSD. We go through depression. We go through anxiety. And they go through nothing. There's a win for George Floyd, but there should be a win for us all.
That's right.
If you're screaming only George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and you don't know the names are in your state, then you guys got a problem. Because there's a lot of us, and we want justice. You need to start speaking our names, because that's what we want. We want justice. We demand that you open up all the cases. We demand that you prosecute the officers, and we demand that you jail or kill the cops. 4 years I've been fighting for my husband. 4 long, hard years, okay? And finally, in June, I got his law passed, which is called the Andrew Kears Act, and that states that if anybody is any kind of medical distress or any mental illness, that they will be held accountable and get a civil law. That's a big win. Thank you. Also, last June, they put it into the Senate. It got to the floor twice. And now, this past May 11th, they reintroduced his law into the Senate. So that if Andrew had to die in that manner to save just one, then he didn't die in vain, and that was his purpose. So I need this law to pass. I need the officers to be prosecuted, and we need them to be jailed, because that's what we want. We want justice. We want all these fake-ass activists to step behind us, because we can speak for ourselves. Stop making money off our loved ones and our blood, because it's not right. I see so many of our survivors crying for help and asking for help, and all they want is just justice for our loved ones, and we can't get it. While these officers just stay on the job, living their lives like nothing. Is that fair to us? No. So you should be behind with each and every one of our families and help seek justice for us, because that's what we want. We want them to be heard. They need to be heard. They need to get their angel wings. Thank you. And justice for Andrew Kears.
Justice for Andrew Kears.
Justice for Andrew Kears.
Justice for Andrew Kears.
One more time.
Justice
United States of America.
Yeah, brother. So next, we have Derek, who's been organizing with some local unions. DK.
Yeah. Sorry, you guys are going to get to know me as the guy with all the sheets of paper. All right, but again, I want to thank you all so much for giving me this opportunity to speak today. I am here right now, again, for the steering committee with Mass Action Against Police Brutality. In fact, each one of us is here today. That we all come from different backgrounds, from different experiences, and different ideologies. And yet, we all come here to stand in solidarity with family members who have lost their loved ones to killer cops, and for the survivors of police brutality. While the conviction of Derek Chauvin for the murder of George Floyd was a start, it is just one of many cases. Troy Hodge, Daniel Prue, Malcolm Ferguson, Andrew Kears, Muhammad Ba, and so many more have been murdered by a system who doesn't give a shit about people of color, about people who are part of working families, about you, about me. They don't give a fuck. We are here today to demand justice for all, that the United States judicial system reopens all cases of police brutality and prosecutes the police. For too long, the police have been the attack dogs of the rich and powerful, serving a system that has been constructed to keep black people in chains, to keep working people poor, and to keep those in power powerful and the rich rich. The first police department in the United States was founded right here in New York City in 1844. And right from the start, they were established as a militant command force whose job was to protect property, not people. To keep minority communities down, not help them up. To keep us divided so that they do not want us to unite against them. In 2019, New York taxpayers funded nearly $70 million over NYPD misconduct and brutality. And yet, we can't get decent subsidized health care, where victims of police brutality are getting beaten to near death, having to go into medical debt bondage to pay their bills for the injuries that the police inflicted. $5.2 billion of NYPD's budget is funded by our tax dollars, by working families like you and me. The wages of our labor, the money for our community, is being stolen for us to pay the police to kill us, to oppress us, to destroy families and end lives, all on your dime. Now, I know what you're all thinking. These costs, these injustices, these racist and classist systems that perpetually rot our city, our nation to its very core, that we need to take back what's ours and defund the police. Well, this is not something that I'm necessarily against. That's not why we're standing here today. Before any utopic ideas can be established, like defund and the eventual abolish, we need to first set a precedent of justice to make sure that when doing something like defund or abolish does come to fruition, it is not replaced with just another institution with the same old policies of racism and violence. When the INS was disbanded in 2003, what happened? We ended up with ICE. When slavery was abolished, the slave catchers were then reorganized as the police. Without setting a precedent for justice, we will run the risk of just having these rotten policies and police forces continue to be enforced under an agency of a new name. This is why so many major media corporations run so many articles to defund or abolish, because the shareholders know this exact reality. But when you bring up prosecution of the police and accountability, all of a sudden the presses are stopped and fear looms over those in institutional power. Because they know that prosecution will set a precedent, and that precedent will bring about actual applicable change. This is why Mass Action Against Police Brutality is organizing family members and survivors of police brutality to set this precedent of justice. Their precedent of justice. We are assisting family members to push their demands to reopen all cases of police brutality and cover-up and to prosecute the police. Our legal system was designed around turning precedent into law. It is time that we set precedent so that this quote-unquote law enforcement establishments like the NYPD have the law enforced on them, so that we can no longer hide behind qualified immunity or the organized crime consortium that they dare to call a police union. With our legal precedent set by reopening the cases, followed by prosecution of the police, we will hold them accountable, and we will make systematic change within this country. So let us stand in solidarity with family members like Hawa Ba, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but is presenting Muhammad Ba's case later this week and needs our support. With Ariel Gonzalez's case, Ariel Galarza's case is on June 21st in the Bronx and needs our support. With Juanita Young, who has been fighting this fight for 20 years so that mothers don't have to suffer the tragedy of burying their own children. With Angie Kears, who fights so hard to make it so that future children don't have to hear how their father died in the back of a police car, begging for their lives, while the cops are laughing and mocking their cries. With 200 plus families that have joined mass action against police brutality to get justice, to set precedent, and to jail killer cops by prosecuting the police. And now when I say no justice, you say no peace. No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Prosecute the police! I said no justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Prosecute the police! I said no justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace! Prosecute the police!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now, when I say what do you want, you say justice. When I ask it when do we want it, you say now. What do you want?
Justice!
When do you want it?
Now!
What do you want?
Justice!
When do you want it?
Now!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
If we don't get it!
Shut it down!
Woo!
Officer, I'm glad you find this so amusing. We see you laughing and giggling like a schoolgirl over there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Fuck 12!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Fuck 12!
That's how I feel.
No good cops in a racist system. No good
Cops in a racist system.
No good cops in a racist system. No good
Cops in a racist system.
No good cops in a racist system!
No good cops in a racist system.
No good cops in a racist system!
No good cops in a racist system.
Joy. We're talking about dead people right here.
That's why the only good cop is a dead
That's
cop.
fun to you? That we have to call press so people get justice? That's fun to you? You do that on our money, on our taxes. Shame on you!
Shame, 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 shame,
Shame!
shame,
Shame! 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 Shame!
FTP!
Fuck the police!
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 I got one.
indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. If we don't